and friends, Andrew back again, and welcome to another update video. DVD Blu-ray update time once again, and yeah, I've got a shitload of titles to show you guys. A couple of non-horrors which we'll do first, and then a lot of pretty awesome horror titles in this update. So yeah, sit back and enjoy the update. So the first non-horror title is I Declare War on Blu-ray. Now, I actually talked about this movie late last year on my channel, I believe. I came across the movie here on YouTube and watched it, and I thought it was alright, didn't think anything too much of it. And then when I was at my local video store planning to rent a couple of movies out one night, I noticed this on the shelf, and it was a pleasant surprise because I had no idea this was ever getting released here in Australia. I certainly did not expect it to, and I decided to rent it out, give it another watch, and I'm so glad I did, because upon second viewing I absolutely loved the movie. So I highly recommend I Declare War. Great little sort of kids themed war movie about two groups of kids who play a game of capture the flag. And it's kind of a mixture of reality and fantasy as the war escalates and as the movie goes on. And I was kind of surprised how sadistic and crazy a couple of the characters ended up becoming as the movie went on. So yeah, I definitely recommend I Declare War. A pretty interesting take on a war-themed movie. And the second non-horror title is Crooked Arrows. This was a complete blind buy. I'd never heard about this movie before picking it up. It sounded pretty cool. It's a high school sports themed movie in the same vein as The Mighty Ducks. It's not up there with The Mighty Ducks, but it is certainly very, very good. I was pleasantly surprised. I wasn't really expecting too much from the movie, but it turned out to be very, very solid. I really enjoyed it. Basically, it's about a group of Native American high school students who play lacrosse, and it's basically them competing in lacrosse against other schools. Pretty cool to come across a sport that I'd never really knew anything about before. Obviously I've heard of lacrosse, but I really didn't know what it was about. The sport itself looks pretty cool. It's basically a mixture of American football and field hockey. It does look pretty fun to play, and it was kind of cool that they went with a sport that isn't really that popular, at least to me anyway, and I have no idea if it's played anywhere else other than America. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see a different sort of sport other than the really sort of common and popular sports. But yeah, this was really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised. So if you are a fan of high school sports themed movies, I highly recommend Crooked Arrows. Now, I'm not really too sure if you would consider this horror or non-horror, but whatever. I finally picked myself up a copy of City of Lost Children. I've been wanting to watch this movie for ages now, so now I finally can. Alright, and let's get into the horror stuff. So, came across a local Australian DVD of the Addams Family. I'm not too sure if this was really, really rare, but I was wanting to pick up this movie for quite some time now, and I just could never find it anywhere. But I've noticed recently a few copies popping up again at local stores, so I decided to grab it. And I still haven't watched this movie. I saw it when it first came out in the movie theatre, actually. I can remember going to see it, and then I'm pretty sure I rented it when it first came out onto DVD. But yeah, haven't seen it since then, so it has been quite some time. I think the movie's really, really good, and I'm looking forward to checking it out again. I'm also a pretty big fan of the TV series as well. So yeah, finally glad to add the Addams Family to the collection. Alright, and let's move on to the Amazon order. So yeah, I placed a pretty big order with Amazon.com, and it's been a while since I've ordered anything from them, but I decided to place a fairly big order. So yeah, this is most of the stuff I picked up. There's one other item which I'll be showing in another update video. But yeah, this is most of the stuff anyway. So first up, we'll continue with the DVDs as well. So we have All Hallows Eve. Now this is a great little horror anthology from last year, and I highly recommend this one to anyone that is into anthology stories or movies. I actually came across this randomly on YouTube one day and decided to watch it, and yeah, was really surprised. This was very good, really well done. I absolutely love the wraparound story. The wraparound story is about a babysitter and two kids that she's looking after, brother and a sister, set on Halloween night, by the way, which is just awesome. The two kids have been out trick-or-treating, and they're just basically sitting around with the babysitter looking through their trick-or-treat bags, and the boy discovers a VHS tape. They end up watching the VHS tape, and that's how the anthology stories play out. Really well done. I really enjoyed this one a lot, and it has a pretty creepy clown in it as well. So yeah, highly recommend All Hallows Eve. The next movie I'd been hearing quite a bit of buzz about here on YouTube, so I decided to add it to my cart, and that is Torture Chamber. Yeah, this was pretty cool. I really did enjoy this one a lot. So to anyone that's been recommending this movie, thanks a lot. I did have a few minor issues with the film, mostly centered around how the story was told. Basically, this one is about a young boy called Jimmy. He's about 13. He's a burns victim, and his family think he is possessed with the devil. Basically, he's been in and out of therapy for quite some time. He was in a burns unit. He ends up escaping with some other burn victim kids. They're in like this cult thing. Basically, they make a base in like an old abandoned castle, and Jimmy takes anyone that has done him wrong in the past to the castle, and they basically torture them. I kind of wish that they had told the story slightly differently. It's kind of all over the place in parts. It's done mostly via flashbacks, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I don't mind flashbacks, but I really especially wish they'd focused on Jimmy recruiting the other kids while they were still in the burns hospital. It doesn't really show that. I kind of wish that it did. But other than that, the movie was really good, and I definitely recommend it. It was pretty awesome. So if you are a fan of Killer Kid or cult-themed movies, definitely check out Torture Chamber. Nice little movie that came out last year, actually. And I've been wanting to pick up the next movie for ages now. It's an Australian horror movie from the early 90s called Body Melt. Now this one has a local release here in Australia via the Umbrella Entertainment label. The DVD is long out of print and it fetches pretty high prices online. So I went the cheaper option and picked up the US release from Scorpion. Great release, by the way. This is one of the Katrina Nightmare theatre labels, and yeah, this was really good. Basically, if you like street trash and you've never seen Body Melt, you will love Body Melt. It's very similar to street trash, pretty much down to a T. The storyline is different, obviously, but just a lot of the characters and the body melting effects are very similar. So yeah, if you're a street trash fan and you've never seen Body Melt, I highly recommend this movie. It was really good and a lot of fun. So that's Body Melt. The next one we have is Tom Holland's Twisted Tales. Now, this is kind of an anthology series done up as a movie, basically. I think it was put out as a TV series. And yeah, Tom Holland directs this one. It's got 9 short stories in this one. They sort of vary in length. Some of them are really short, and some of them are slightly longer. I've got to say I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about this series, to be completely honest, because it's not bad, but then it's not really good either. I will say overall I was kind of disappointed, especially because Tom Holland was behind this. I was expecting something pretty good with this, and it didn't quite deliver. The wraparound story is pretty much non-existent, and that really pissed me off because I was expecting Tom Holland to do something very similar to The Crypt Keeper, something like that, but really it was nothing special. Basically, at the beginning of each short segment, he would just talk a little bit about the segment, and that was it. So very, very underwhelming there. The stories were really a mixed bunch. They did have some sort of well-known characters, like Danielle Harris was in one of the short stories, and so that was kind of cool, but I don't know. I'm really mixed on this one. I didn't think it was bad, but then again I didn't think it was really, really good, so kind of on the fence. If you are a hardcore anthology fan, I would say give it a go. If not, I would probably skip it for now unless you can find it pretty cheap. I think it sells for about $12 on Amazon, and I definitely would not pay any more than that. $12 or under, go for it. I do know there's an Australian DVD for $30. Anyone in Australia, do not pay that. Honestly, it's not worth $30, no way. But yeah, I'm definitely going to rewatch it, but I was just kind of underwhelmed, especially because Tom Holland was behind this. So yeah, that's Twisted Tales. I'm going to move on now. I don't really have much more to say about that. Next we have a full moon movie, and that is Arcade. Now, I've been wanting this film for a while now. I've been saying that a lot in this update. But yeah, I've been wanting it for a while, and I kind of forgot about it, but I came across it again on Amazon when I was looking up some full moon stuff, and I'm so glad I did. This movie was exactly what I was expecting it to be. It's fun cheese from the early 90s. It's got a really sort of combination of like a 80s and 90s movie mix. It's kind of interesting in that aspect. Basically, it's about a group of kids that get addicted to this virtual reality game. It ends up sucking them into the game, and there's out of the group there's two kids. One of them's played by Peter Billingsley. He was really good in this movie, and it's basically about him and another girl who don't get affected by the game. They end up having to go into the game and basically trying to beat it to save their friends. The effects are super, super cheesy. If anyone is familiar with Full Moon, I guess you know what to expect. But yeah, I was actually surprised how much I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to, and I definitely recommend it. It's just pretty awesome cheese. So that's Arcade. Alright, and let's move on to the Blu-rays now. So first up for the Blu-rays we have the Bookends. Another awesome film for my creature feature collection. And I'm kind of surprised this one still came with the slipcover. I love slipcovers, so that's cool. So that is the Bookends. Finally picked up a copy of Torso. As you guys know, I've been really getting into my Italian horror, and this is definitely a title that I wanted to check out, so I now have it on Blu-ray. Another film I've been wanting for a while is Day of the Animals. This was fairly pricey on Amazon though, I noticed, but luckily when I placed my order it was about $18, so I jumped on it. I thought I'm not going to wait, that's the cheapest I've seen it. Added it to the cart, and definitely very happy with the pickup. So haven't watched it yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. I've heard pretty good things about it, so that is Day of the Animals. Finally got around to picking up some Scream Factory Blu-ray. Been kind of slacky a little bit on the Scream Factory pickups, but it's kind of annoying because we don't get them here in Australia, so my only way is to import them from America, and I haven't really ordered anything from America lately. But anyway, enough rambling. We have Night of the Demons. I love this movie. It's definitely one of my favourite horror movies from the 80s, and I'm pretty happy to see this one got a Blu-ray release. The special features look pretty good, and I cannot wait to see what this movie looks like on Blu-ray. So yeah, that's Night of the Demons. Another pretty awesome custom cover from Scream Factory as well. So yeah, if you've never seen Night of the Demons before and you're an 80s horror fan, what are you doing? Go out and pick up this movie. It is awesome. We have another horror anthology, Chillerama. Again, this has been on my wish list for ages, so finally had to take the plunge and pick it up, and I'm really looking forward to checking it out. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Another horror anthology, and it's fucking awesome, and this is The Monster Club with Vincent Price. This anthology I highly recommend. I owned the Australian DVD for a while, and I actually only recently got around to watching it and absolutely loved it, so had to upgrade to Blu-ray. I haven't checked out the Blu-ray yet, but I've heard relatively good things about the picture quality and transfer. But yeah, awesome little horror anthology, and seriously, this has got to have one of the best, if not the best, wraparound story I have ever seen in terms of an anthology movie. It centres around Vincent Price. He's basically the storyteller in this one. He's a vampire, and it all takes place in a monster club. The nightclub looks frigging awesome. It has 3 short stories, and I've got to say, very solid. The standout segment for me was definitely the last one in the Ghoul Village. I also enjoyed the second one with the vampire. The first one was alright, but definitely the weakest out of the 3 in my opinion. But yeah, I highly recommend this little anthology. It is awesome, and it's fairly underrated, I think, because I never really hear too many people talk about it when they mention anthologies. So that is The Monster Club. I finally got around to picking up another Argento movie, his first movie actually, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. What a classic, very stylish giallo that I enjoyed a lot. So definitely recommend this. I'm sure most of you have seen it anyway, but if not, definitely highly recommend this giallo. It's fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to, I've seen it before, I'm looking forward to checking it out on Blu-ray. I haven't got around to watching this release yet, but I've heard very good things about it. So yeah, great movie. And lastly, to finish the update off, we have a box set, a full moon box set of Puppet Master 1, 2 and 3. Been wanting to pick up these movies on Blu-ray for a while now. I haven't seen the Puppet Master films in years. I used to rent them out a lot with friends throughout high school. Really had a lot of fun with them. They are really fun movies in my opinion, so had to pick up the box set. It was really cheap, so yeah, glad to own these in my collection, and I'm definitely pretty keen to revisit these movies soon. So that's the box set of Puppet Master 1, 2 and 3. Okay, that does it for yet another update. Got through a lot of titles here, so if you've seen any of these, definitely let me know what you think of them. Opinions in the comment section below. I do have another update planned for probably the next 2 to 3 days. It is a vampire themed update, so definitely stay on the lookout for that. I've been picking up a shitload of vampire films recently, so the update probably will be just as big as this one, just as many titles almost, so stay on the lookout for that video. Anyway guys, the video's probably gone on long enough, so I will leave you guys now. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks a lot for watching.